Well, everybody, I love learning about innovative businesses. And of course, thanks to Enbridge, they have introduced us to an organization that is truly changing how consumers can seek out, what we call, whether it be somebody that you want to have do contract work around your home, or whether you want a painter. I mean, you name it, this organization does all the grunt work for you. So I think it's fantastic. And I really also love the name as well. So this is, of course, CasaGuru. And we have with us Tom Cordeiro, and he's the founder and president CEO of CasaGuru. So welcome, Tom, to the program.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
All right. CasaGuru, love the name. So go ahead, in your words, what does your organization do?
We are commonly referred to as the eHarmony of the home industry.
I love that.
And whereby we're like a dating site. We connect homeowners across Canada. It's a free community. And we are the only service in Canada essentially to only allow accredited, licensed, insured pros to be found by homeowners across Canada.
Which is a wonderful thing, because you know what we get all the time, our listeners and viewers, they'll say, can you recommend this? Can you suggest who we should use for that?
That's right. Our mentality in doing the research, what we found is that regardless of the project, homeowners are not very sure of who to hire. Mm-hmm. Once they figure out who to hire, they're not exactly sure how to evaluate those pros. So that's where we come in. And the beautiful element of it is that we, based on the pro type, we have a specific set of requirements. So it's not the same for the electrician or for the home inspector or for the designer or the mortgage broker. Mm. And to help us with that, we basically partnered with over now 30 national associations. So for example, if a mortgage broker says, I want to be a CasaGuru, they have to go through the proper training and they have to be a member of, in this case, IMBA or CAMP.
Okay.
And that happens for every pro type. So it's not a matter of, there's other sites out there that basically turn a bit of a blind eye in the interest of maybe revenue. That happens. Mm-hmm. And our corporate mandate from day one is if they do not meet these prerequisites, they are not a CasaGuru.
You had said that, first of all, when somebody is part of your organization, if they don't follow the code of conduct, mm-hmm. in other words, they give poor or improper service, once it's investigated, of course, okay, yes. Then they're out.
Absolutely.
All right, okay. The other thing that you had also indicated is that depending on the profession, there's requirements to update one's learning or abilities or taking additional credits to prove so. Yes. You actually keep track of that.
That's right.
Wow.
And so it's not just a matter of us accepting yes for an answer from mm-hmm. the pros. We have to They have to physically submit all the documentation we require. We have it on file. In their profile, it's identified that we do have that in our possession. We don't broadcast that information, obviously, because it's private.
Sure, of course.
But it's a task that we perform that the pros thank us for, because then it reminds them that they have to go ahead and renew or get that updated document so that they
wonderful.
Can show their customers.
Yeah, that's
so
great.
That's how much we protect the homeowner.
Usually we go to somebody that we know and say, okay, who do you recommend? Whether you want to have your home renovated or somebody come and paint or even an energy audit done. I mean, we tend to go to people that have had an experience or have done it and say, okay, well, who did you use?
Yeah, that's exactly what happened to me about 8 years ago.
Oh, okay.
I was running a couple companies. I had to get my windows, and I mean not the software, my actual windows in my home fixed, and I used my neighbor's referral. And long and short of it was that I got some person to come in and do a very hack job, to say the least. And long and short of it is I ended up paying so much more. And at that point, I thought there has to be a place.
So that was my next question. How did you come up with this whole concept? So obviously, that window installation, is that the reason?
Yeah, that was basically the instigator, or if you will, the catalyst to this whole thing. It's been quite the learning curve as well, because I've learned a lot. And we now have so many homeowners instilling faith and contacting us and saying, I went to some other sites where, for example, there are reviews posted, and our mentality is that just because there's positive reviews on there doesn't necessarily mean that, the integrity is there.
Right.
And one of our mottos is reviews can be bought, credentials cannot.
Sure.
Right. And that is a very much a solid message that we're sending people. And I think the word is starting to get out there that, you and I can go start a business listing, create 20 emails, post some great ratings, and start opening up our doors for business. Meanwhile, we've never, hammered a nail into a wall.
That's right.
And that's the one thing with us. The other element with CasaGuru is there's a minimum requirement of minimum 3 years as a registered business.
Okay.
So you get all these fly-by-night contractors, renovators, and they simply do not apply once they see that those credentials are there,
All right.
or the prerequisites are there.
Very good.
So yeah, the system governs itself, because we're actually launching, as I mentioned, we're launching an entirely new platform in about 4 weeks from now.
So your new website. So what is your website, just for our listeners?
It's CasaGuru, Casa, CasaGuru.com.
Okay, very good.
And like I said, it's a great site, but it's about to get that much better. The new kind of function we're going to be launching is, for a homeowner, today we find that the internet itself is very, very fragmented. So a homeowner wants to find a flooring contractor or an HVAC contractor. So that's obviously, most people go to Google and they do find a contractor, and then that's pretty much a dead end street. Whereas on the new CasaGuru, if a homeowner does a search for, say, an HVAC contractor, we will provide them search results that include all the professionals that we've screened in their area. Then we're going to give them a tab of all these savings that are available to them in their area.
Wow.
Then there's going to be a tab with videos, then a tab of expert tips and articles. So that basically it takes your search. We call it the homeowner's dream search.
It's a directed research, right?
It is.
I mean, really, you're directing them and giving them what they need so they can make a wise decision.
That's right. It's an aggregate search. So
Fantastic.
You literally do one search and we'll give you essentially all you need.
Yeah.
Because we've all been in the situation where we get something, a flyer in the mail, and we say, wow, I don't need this, or where were you when I needed you?
Right.
And at this point, we're kind of resolving that in the search now. So
That's so true.
Yeah.
You do get that, right?
Exactly.
Oh, I think that's fantastic. Okay, so explain to us, what is the association then with CasaGuru and Enbridge?
Well, the Enbridge, the home rating program, when I first heard about it, I think it was a phenomenal, initiative by Enbridge to take this on. Myself personally, having bought a 70s bungalow, or a 60s bungalow actually, the space looked amazing, but our first winter that we endured, I couldn't believe the heating costs.
Right.
And so I found out about the energy audit, and the long and short of it is, the investment that people are putting into their homes, there's not really a way to convey that, especially at a time of sale. Now, homeowners there's incentive for them to actually promote the fact that, hey, I have spent, for example, thousands and thousands of dollars on my furnace, on my insulation, on my windows. That is an investment that you want to make sure that potential buyer is aware of.
Absolutely.
And vice versa. The potential buyer needs to know that. On CasaGuru, we have the luxury to have like a dual prong approach for the home rating program, where we can help educate the pros, which is a variety of, say mortgage brokers even, but the realtors.
Yeah, the realtors and brokers.
And the brokers. And then you come down to, and then we have the other side, which we have the homeowners.
Right.
To let them know that, hey, if you haven't heard about this yet, you might want to mention it to your realtor.
And more importantly, reaping the benefits. And when you have a home that you're about to sell, of course, somebody's going to say, okay, you know what? When I've got it down to 3 choices, I'm going to pick this home because of the energy efficiency over the other 2 homes.
That's right.
It is a selling feature, right?
Absolutely. And the home rating itself, to have it on the MLS listing, it's just another feather in the cap for that home.
Now, Tom, we talked about the benefit for Enbridge in terms of the sellers, but what about the buyers? Enbridge is offering free energy audits. How many of those?
I think this year they're like at 500 that they're giving away. We spend so much time researching our trips. We spend so much time researching our vehicles, our TVs. And when it comes to your home, they fall in love with the place. More so, that thing in the basement referred to as the furnace and the insulation is now becoming more front and center.
Right.
And you can fall in love with the place, but I think it's a great service to a person who's about to invest, obviously, or buy their biggest investment, to actually have a chance to partake in an energy audit on this home. And what we're trying to help Enbridge with is convey the fact that this doesn't affect the sale of the home.
Right.
It's more so just to learn, what can I do to make my home even better? And Enbridge is providing that opportunity to the buyer for free.
When you have excess waste, inside your home where things are just not running efficiently, or it's leaking and it's going outside, this costs a lot of money. That's when people really wake up and go, okay, it's hitting my pocketbook. I can save this much money. It's a no-brainer.
That's right. When the honeymoon with the home is over, and then you sit there and go, let me see that bill. Wow. And Enbridge, again, granting that energy audit to a buyer at no charge.
Yeah.
Even so, it's just nice to know that, okay, you know what, these are little behind the scenes elements that my house can use some love on, so to speak. And you're that much further ahead to making it even that much more of a better home. So I agree with you. It's very similar back in the day to the home inspection. And now this, I think, I have no idea, quite frankly, why this wouldn't become mainstream.
I agree with you. So we'll remind our listeners and our viewers again, it's knowyourenergyscore.ca. But also for CasaGuru, I mean, congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm actually kind of happy that you had a bad window installation experience because, really that was the precursor to you creating an incredible organization, a great product, something that is accessible by all. So remind our listeners and viewers again, how do they get access to CasaGuru?
It's simply CasaGuru.com. And it's free. It's an absolutely free service to homeowners. And we're just so happy that we can really help homeowners reduce headaches and time and help them save some money along the way as well.
So congratulations, Tom. And thanks for joining.
Thank you for having me. Much appreciated.